This is the Shotgun City Sheriff, the law himself, Clayton Clark.
This is the young Titan, Aaron Atlas.
This is your favorite drunken pro wrestler, a.k.a. the Bud Light Brawler, Dalton Davis.
This is Danger Josh Crane.
Hey, this is Matt Brannigan.
This is Sage Phillips, the Catch Wrestling Casanova.
This is Steve Wilson, the man behind former Impact Wrestling and current independent wrestling star, The Monster, Congo Kong.
This is Jake Something.
And this is the jaw-jacking, back-cracking, God created all men equal, and then he made me the sequel, Rohit Raju, and you are listening to the Spot Show Podcast.
Spot Show Podcast.
Spot Show Podcast.
The Spot Show Podcast.
Spot Show Podcast. Hell yeah.
The Spot Show Podcast.
The Spot Show Podcast? Yeah, that's right, I stuttered. Shut up.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Spot Show Podcast, a professional wrestling podcast not about professional wrestling. I am one of your hosts, the Dr. Seuss of the commentary booth, Mr. Dickie Wabash, joined as always by the one-legged wonder, Michael Madrox.
What's up, Dickie?
I don't know, but damn it, I forgot to do the spooky season intro that I've been doing. Spooky, scary, MadBash boys, we send shivers down your spine.
We have all this month.
This is true. And what better way to end the month than continue it being spooky? But we're going to get into that a little bit later. We're going to talk about what the topic of this podcast is going to be here just a little bit, because I just got to ask, how have you been doing, Madrox? I feel like that we've never really just like gotten on here and just been like, so what's up, man?
Oh, dude, I've been busy as hell.
You know what? I have too.
And not together, though. That's the weird thing.
A lot of it, no. Like, that's what's weird about it, is that a lot of it has been together, but some of it has, like, also been, like, away from each other. Because I've got my own stuff going on, you've got your own stuff going on, and then we come together and we've got even more stuff going on. So, like, I don't know, dude.
Like...
So I just want anyone who thinks that it's, like, easy or this is a get-rich-quick scheme.
No.
Brother, there's a lot of work that goes into this. And I don't think that people fully understand that until they do it themselves.
Like, dude,
that's not me trying to discourage.
No. Like, people don't understand. Like, we got our personal lives, our personal projects. Then MadBash takes over all the extra time.
Yep. It's like, it's not even just MadBash. Like, it's the wrestling weekends, and I have seen the MadBash boys every single weekend for the last 2 months.
That's not a bad thing, but I mean,
I need a break, brother.
Guys, go home. Guys, go home.
I think this is where we make the official announcement now, because we've talked about it in our personal lives, but we've not really met. We're taking December off. Like,
not from MadBash.
Not from MadBash. We're still going to be doing the podcast, all the Patreon stuff, all the other stuff, but we're not taking any bookings in December. We are just going to kind of chill, regroup, and get ready for the next year, because we got some big plans next year.
Absolutely, man.
We really do.
I mean, I have one booking in December, but that's not to do with pro wrestling.
Yeah.
Thank God.
Like, now, this is not saying that we won't, like, go to shows and cheer on the brothers and shit like that. But, like, as for, like, us, yeah, we're not taking any additional bookings in December.
We say that now, though. Something will happen.
Don't jinx us.
You know it's bound to happen.
Hey, before we get too far into this, though, I just want to let you guys know that this episode of the Spot Show Podcast is brought to you by Elite Pro Wrestling and Yoo-Hoo, but you're going to hear a little bit more about those guys later. That is, of course, unless you head on over to patreon.com/MadBash Studios. You back us at the $5 and above tier. You are going to get this episode and future episodes and past episodes absolutely, positively ad-free. And here's a little inside, if you think about this right now. If you go today, that this comes out to the public, this is of course the 26th of October that this comes out to the public, and you sign up for that 7-day free trial on the $5 tier,
What do they get?
you're going to be getting access to Danville Dreamers too, because it is coming out October 29th, 30-day exclusive access on patreon.com at the $5 and $10 tier. But that's not all that you get over there on Patreon, $10 tier. You got Big Stupid Popcorn to look at. There's 3 episodes out so far. You've got Mystery Men. You've got Demon House. You've got Ready to Rumble. Those are always fun. You've also got all the pilot season shows that we have been doing. You've got all the behind the scenes photos and videos that we have been taking. There is just, man, we are just too good to these guys over on patreon.com.
We are.
Slash
More new
MadBash
stuff
Studios.
coming out, man.
And even more stuff coming out. This is just what we got now. But listen, here's the thing. I just want to break it down for you guys here a little bit. I understand. Sometimes you don't necessarily have the extra funds that you can toss our way. I get it completely. I understand that. We've all been through a little bit of rough times. We've all been a little bit cash poor sometimes. So here's what I'm going to do for you right now. It is absolutely, positively ad-free. I slipped up because I said that one other time. I said ad-free, and I meant to just say free, but I said ad-free. But anyway, it's positively free. It's free.
What's free?
To support us by heading to your favorite podcasting platform, giving us a 5-star review, giving us a share ski with one of your friends, going to our YouTube channel, MadBash Studios, giving us a subscribe on there, giving us a like on Facebook. That stuff is absolutely ad-free. I did it again. I'm just not feeling it today, brother. I don't know what the deal is. I'm just in that weird headspace. But I digress. The point is, that's completely free. You can still support us. And you know what? That level of support is just as important as backing us on Patreon. We appreciate any support that you guys can get us. Speaking of support, we put out the bat signal.
Yeah, we did.
We put it out on our Facebook page. We put it out on our Patreon. We said, the first episode of this month, we talked about urban legends. We told our ghost stories. Went into paid show, told some more ghost stories. So we put it in the listeners' court, I guess you could say. We put the ball in their court.
Yeah.
Let's hear your stories, guys. That's what we said. That's what we did. That's what we do here. And we have picked out 3 stories here today that I think are really good ones.
You think so?
They're very good ones. And here's what's funny about it. We spent a lot of that episode talking about Edna Collins Bridge.
Yeah.
Most of them involve Edna Collins Bridge.
I told everyone.
You tried to warn them.
I tried to
warn them, but you know what? That's not all that we're going to be talking about here today. Let's just talk about Halloween in general, man. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Because I love Halloween. Like we said this at the beginning, at the beginning of the month, this is my time of year. This is your time of year.
What was your favorite childhood costume before we start anything?
Ooh. See, I like where you're going with this because you're reading my mind. Because I was going to be like, let's save these listener stories for the back half of the podcast, maybe. Make you wait. Got to hear these stories, though. There's some good ones. I pre-read them. They're good. So we talked about this a little bit. I never really went trick-or-treating as a kid. Never did. Because we would always set up in my front yard and we would do like a haunted attraction in my front yard as a kid. And like we would, jump out and scare kids and we would, we'd pass out candy and all this other stuff.
You still had a costume though.
I did have costumes. This is fair. Because I would still get to trick or treat a little bit. You know what I mean? Like we would just go down the block or whatever. But man, so many good costumes. But there is one that sticks out in my mind. And I don't remember how old I was. I had to be kindergarten probably. And I don't think that it was anything specific. But it was like a crazed like jack-o'-lantern scarecrow deal. And it was like this big foam mask that you put on your head. And then it was like a scarecrow outfit. That was a good one. But overall, my favorite costume of all time was I dressed up as Vegeta from Dragon Ball Z. No, not even that one. I'm remembering all this stuff, man. Okay, no, my favorite costume. This is it. This is Dickie Wabash's favorite Halloween costume. I dressed up as an executioner.
Oh yeah,
and it was awesome. And then it had like this really thin cloth mask that you put on over your head.
Yeah.
And I remember sneezing in that son of a bitch, and boy, was it hard to clean. So what about you? What was your favorite?
Childhood wise, I would have to go with my Hulk Hogan costume.
Oh, okay.
Because 3-year-old baby Michael Madrox decided to wear that Halloween costume daily. Anytime I played wrestling or anything, had my cowboy boots and my Hulk Hogan costume on. As I got older, I experienced the first Ghostface costume with the bleeding mask.
Yeah.
So that technology back in like 97, 98 was life-changing, where you could squeeze a fake heart and blood pour down your face.
I remember the bleeding Ghostface mask.
They still make them today.
I know.
They don't
like
hit as hard as
iconic.
back then.
They're what now?
They don't hit as hard as they do back then.
No, they didn't. They definitely, like, they were very much of the time, was that pumping, bleeding Ghostface mask.
Yeah.
My brother had the just straight up Ghostface mask, and boy, I wish that he still had that mask, because like I'm not the biggest like horror guy, I'm not the biggest Scream guy, but just that Ghostface mask is just fucking
iconic.
It's iconic, dude. Absolutely iconic. And like, I would honestly, you're probably going to disagree with me on this big time, but I would put Ghostface mask above Jason, above Michael Myers, above them, because like, I don't know, man. I just would.
Because it's cheaper.
And it's cheaper. That is true. Well, technically, wouldn't a Jason mask be cheaper? Because it's literally just a hockey mask.
No, because you gotta get the special Jason mask, man. That's
fair.
where you're wrong, right?
Yeah,
here. I'm gonna
you
call
can't-
you out
you-
on it.
you can't
get that Dollar General flimsy little shit with the extra holes.
Yeah, you can't just throw on a cheap.
It doesn't
goalie
look the
mask.
same.
Yeah.
Does not look the same.
Did you ever? You had to. When we would do the haunted yard in my house, did you ever go through that?
Probably.
You had to.
I don't see any reason I wouldn't have.
Yeah. I remember the idea when my dad came up with it, because apparently it all started when my mom was pregnant with me. My dad would dress up like he got in like a ball, and he was like under a sheet or whatever, and they'd come up to the front porch, and my mom was dressed up as a witch, and she would be like, "Oh yeah, thank you." And then as they'd walk up, they'd see this pile of what my mom told them was like dirty laundry or something. And then
Only at Halloween time would that make sense to have in your yard.
Only at Halloween time, I agree. And they would like have their back to my dad, and then my mom would like, as they're turning away, they'd turn around and there would be my dad standing, and they'd be like, but so then fast forward a few years, and I'll never forget my dad coming up to me and my brother and saying, "Here's what we're going to do, boys." He said, "We're going to build some coffins with no lid, and we're going to prop them up in our front yard, and we're going to put them out in our front yard like 2 weeks before Halloween. And we're going to put dummies in the coffin." And so this is why I'm going to back up and say this was my favorite costume, because I just remembered it. It was a whole head skull mask. And then I had on a flannel and then bibs with gloves and stuff like that. So we dressed up a mannequin just like that. Like we stuffed it with like,
So everyone gets used to it, so they don't expect anything on Halloween
and
night.
then so my sidewalk walking up to the front porch, one side we had a little mini coffin with that dummy, and then on the other side we had Ghostface dummy. Yeah. And then
I'm just watching you move your hands majestically to paint a picture.
The night of Halloween and Halloween Eve, we grab the dummies, hurry up, take them apart, and then get the costumes on, and then hurry up and climb back in the coffins.
Yeah, that's how you're supposed to do it.
Yep. It's because like you said, everyone is driving by our house all week, and they're seeing these dummies, and they're like, oh, that's pretty nifty. So then what we would do is my uncle sat at the bottom of the steps, and he was sitting in a chair as a mannequin, and he had on a full outfit, and they'd walk down the steps, and my uncle would go, "Happy Halloween," and they'd turn around and like look and see him, and then I would jump out and scare them. They'd be reacting to me, and then my brother would jump out and scare them, and they would be like, "Oh my god!"
Double scares.
So, yeah, man. Yeah, man. They absolutely were. GameStop is calling me right now. I wonder if this is because of my Spider-Man.
I'm not disappointed about the phone call.
I don't know if legally I can use that audio.
I'm not disappointed about the phone call.
What?
I'm disappointed a GameStop employee asked you if you had any more questions and you did not chime in with, "Hey, do you got any AEW chases in stock?"
Oh, man, I should have.
Disappointed.
Yeah. You know what? You can probably hear that phone call on Shit Show. That's the new show coming up to the Patreon ski. But anyway, where were we before the GameStop called me? What were we talking about?
The double scare.
The double scare, yeah. So, but that was the whole thing, is that it's like they would legitimately fall for the double scare, and then we would get dressed, and then at that point, it's like they know the next day.
Yeah.
So we don't need to put the mannequin back out, but we still got out there the next day and did it. It was pretty dope. Did you ever do anything like that?
Yeah, the exact same thing. We'd build a mannequin in the front of the yard, and then the next day I'd go out there and switch everything out, and I'd just sit there with an axe. And then the little kids would come up to get candy from Logan's mother.
Yeah.
And they'd be walking off the stores, "Hi, bye, happy Halloween." And the little kids would come up and poke me to make sure I was fake. And I'd fill my hoodies and whatever I was wearing with trash bags, so
just so that it would feel like you were.
Yes, sir. And then when they saw 7 foot tall Mr. Guy in the mask with an axe chasing him down the road, smacking the axe on the concrete, sending off fire sparks, that's when the real fun began.
Hell yeah.
I had grown women falling over in the street, screaming and crying, men pissing themselves in the road.
Oh, we had that too, because the next year we built a PVC tunnel in my yard.
Yeah.
And we hung black plastic over it, and we cut slits in the walls so that we could jump out and scare them from the walls.
That's very nice.
Yeah. Because when it's black and everything, like, you can't tell that there's slits in the walls.
No.
Just
like a normal haunted house.
Yeah. Same
like,
concept.
You go in there in the dark, like, you can't tell that there's moving doors and holes in the walls where the actors can see you and shit.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
I got to ask you, though.
Yeah.
Other than costumes, there's one big question that everyone needs to know. What's your favorite Halloween candy?
I knew that was it. I knew that was going to be it. Man, so the thing that I would always look forward to seeing is the cherry Tootsie Roll.
The cherry Tootsie Roll?
Cherry Tootsie
I'm
Roll.
a vanilla Tootsie Roll guy myself.
Are you?
I am.
Didn't we just talk about this in the fire prevention parade?
We did.
Where Clayton was eating the orange ones, right?
And Austin was eating all of them.
Yeah, Austin was eating all of them, yeah. We'll get into that here in a little bit towards the end here. We'll talk about more with our October, but so what was your favorite?
I would have to go with Kit Kats. You can never go wrong with a Kit Kat.
You can absolutely go wrong with a Kit Kat.
Locally, though, there was one guy who would give out the whole fruit pies.
Yeah, we'll talk about him in a second, because you can absolutely go wrong with Kit Kats.
You can?
Yeah. Getting the American ones, because the UK ones are so much better. But yeah, Fruit Pie Man. I remember Fruit Pie Man.
He'd give out fruit pies and, speaking of the devil, yoo-hoos.
Yep, he would. Yeah, he would give out fruit pie and yoo-hoo. And he was a devil worshiper, right?
He had like pentagrams and shit painted all through his walls of his house.
Yeah, like you would
everything.
walk by and he would have his front window open and you would see like pentagrams and all that stuff. Yeah.
Still the best house to go to.
Yeah. So, now what I do as an adult, like, because you got to think, after we moved from there, we moved out into the country, so there's no trick-or-treaters out in the country.
No.
But now I live in the city. And honestly, you're going to be ashamed at me for admitting this.
I already know you don't do nothing.
I just turn the porch light off and watch a movie.
Despicable.
See, everybody does the 31 days of Halloween where they watch all
I hate
these.
that crap.
Yeah, I do too. So I just watch a horror movie on Halloween night is what I do.
I normally take the kids trick-or-treating, keeping the spirit alive.
Yeah. I remember last year because Owen got a Butterfinger and he said, that's Dickie's favorite candy because my favorite candy bar is a Butterfinger.
And he held it all week for you to come get it.
Yep, and he gave it to me. And then I remember also coming over and eating all the kids' leftover Halloween candy.
That's the best part about it, brother.
Yep.
I get looked at funny if I go trick-or-treating being 7 foot tall and a grown man, but hey, you pump out enough kids, you get a candy factory.
Also, I want to go on record right now and say this to
Yes.
everybody listening. Never in the history of Halloween have people put fucking razor blades in chocolate bars. So quit believing that stupid fucking urban legend. It's not true.
But Candyman said so.
Oh, the Candyman. And also, people aren't going to fucking put drugs in.
You know how expensive drugs are.
That's the point. As the old meme. There was another meme that I saw that it was like, these kids going to be pissed. They think they're getting the Twix. Then they look at it and it's really my mixtape. And it was like, he pulled apart and it was a USB drive.
That's promotion right there, brother.
Yeah.
USB drives with spot shows on them. There we go.
Oh, hell yeah. These kids are going to be coming to my house. They're going to be getting MadBash business cards.
That's the way to do it.
Yeah, that's the way to do it. So another funny thing too is that, we've talked about him before. Your brother Jimmy.
Yeah.
I always said, because we did this like where we would scare in the front yard. We did it like 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
And every year I would tell him, I'm going to get you this year. I'm going to get you this year. And every year it never failed. Every time that he would be there, I would be doing something else. I would like be up going to the bathroom or taking a break or something like, I don't know how that is the case, but I never got that fucker.
You jinx yourself all the time when you open your mouth.
I know.
That's the Dickie Wabash.
I know. It was going on even back then. Like, because now the joke is that, and it's true, this always happens. Listen to our commentary. This always fucking happens to me where I'm making a prediction about what's going on in the ring and then the complete opposite happens.
Yep.
It happens every single time. I am bad at what I do, I guess. Or maybe I'm good and like I'm just like I can like control what's happening. I don't know.
Add layers to the onion.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, Halloween is a big deal for both of us, I think, but not for much as me anymore as I'm an adult. But I feel like once I have kids one day, then it's going to be back up there,
Oh yeah, guarantee it.
Because it'll be all about. So that one documentary, I always get the names confused. But it's about those 3 people that live in the same neighborhood, and the father and son do a haunted house, and then the one dad does a haunted house, and then you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I can't remember the name.
Yeah,
though.
I think is that American Haunters or something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
But anyway, that one guy in there is just a fucking tool bag because he's blatantly telling his kids, "Nope, you can't go trick or treating. You can't go trick or treating. We got to stay here and scare people."
Yeah,
and it was never the case with my mom and dad. They always gave me the option. They would be like, do you want to go trick or treating? And they were like, no, or I would always be like, no, like I like scaring kids. Like I like being at the house and doing what we're doing. I don't necessarily need to go trick or treating. And I think a lot of it is because of my social anxiety, but no, man, that guy was a real problem because like, he specifically put his family in a house that they could not fit in because there was too many of them because it was a good neighborhood and he could have good trick-or-treating.
It's ridiculous.
That guy
man.
was a piece of shit. I don't give a fuck what you say about it. He was. I don't even remember the name of the documentary. I think it was like, it wasn't Haunter's Art of the Scare. Haunter's Art of the Scare is the one that follows the guy from Kamey Manor who I think is a fucking psychopath, by the
There's
way.
a new documentary about that on Hulu.
Oh, is there?
Yes.
Because they've talked about McCamey Manor a couple of times. They talked about it on Haunter's Art of the Scare, and then there was a show called Dark Tourist with David Farrier.
Yeah.
Did you ever watch that show?
Yeah.
It's a good fucking show.
Yeah.
But he goes to McCamey Manor and he talks about it, you know. I didn't know there was a new documentary about it,
Hulu
though.
just put it out. It's pretty good.
Ooh, I have to get Hulu to watch it because I really think Russ McCamey is certifiably insane.
Yes.
Because,
guaranteed.
like, there's a part in Haunter's Art of the Scare where he's talking. This is expert documentary filmmaking. And they're talking to him and they're like, there's no safe word. Like, why would there be a safe word? Why would people want to quit? And then it cuts to him yelling at one of his buddies saying, stop it, because he's being chased with a spider.
Yeah.
It's expert documentary filmmaking right there, man. You love that shit.
We could have a whole podcast about that place.
About McCamey Manor?
Yeah.
We just need, How do you feel about stuff like that? About these extreme haunts?
I like extreme haunts. Like, I got no problem if they want to, like, touch you, grab you, hurt you a little bit, threaten you. But, like, that place is just ridiculous. No one's ever going to beat it.
That place, like, is borderline psychological torture.
Yeah. No one's ever made it to the end because guess what happens at the end? They're going to fucking kill you to keep their $20,000.
Yeah.
And you sign that 40-page waiver, and it says right then and there.
Wait a minute. Have they changed the format of McCamey Manor?
What do you mean?
I don't think we're talking about the same thing here, brother.
Yeah, brother.
McCamey Manor is the one where they like have you for like 3 or 4 hours and just full blown fucking torture you.
No, there's 20 hours now, brother.
They've changed it?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
You got to watch the new documentary.
Have you seen it?
Yeah, I just watched it 3 nights ago.
Okay, so they've changed the structure of it then.
Oh yeah, it's a 40-page waiver now, and clearly in the waiver says you're gonna die, and no one's ever made it fucking through. Like, it takes the fun out of it. Like, it's just torture porn. That's all it is.
Yeah.
This guy gets his kicks off torturing people.
Well, there's another part in that first documentary, and this documentary was made like back in like 2050 maybe, 16, something like that. And he's just studying the footage and he's just fixated on it. And you can tell that he's fucking pitching a tent because he's just like, there's like that. So back when I did my documentary podcast, Documented, I covered that documentary, Haunter's Art of the Scare. And I talk about Russ McCamey and I say, the thing with Russ McCamey is he's a serial killer that lacks ambition. Almost. Yeah. That's what he reminds me of, is that he reminds me of a serial killer that lacks ambition. And I genuinely do feel that way.
Oh, yeah. Guarantee it, dude.
He's also very much strikes me as the type of guy that like just wants to force himself and be in a position of power. And there's a couple avenues that we can go down when talking about Russ McCamey, but we would be tiptoeing some lines, so we can talk about it off mic. I'll tell you what I think about him, but I'm sure as a person, he's a good person, but he sure doesn't seem to be. Like, maybe like you get to know him and sit down and talk to him and have fucking dinner with him, he might be a good guy. Like, but it's hard to believe.
Watch the new documentary before you make that comment.
Okay, this is good to know. I'll get on Hulu. I've been thinking about signing back up for Hulu. So yeah, I'll definitely do that then. I'll definitely do that. So, all right. We're going to get into some listener submitted stories after we hear a little bit of a word from our sponsors. This episode is brought to you by Yoo-Hoo, a product of Keurig Dr. Pepper. So here's what I want you to picture right now, right? You're on a long road trip. You're driving along and you're thinking, man, I could really go for a nice, sweet, refreshing drink. You pull into a gas station and the first thing you see is Yoo-Hoo. And I got to tell you, grabbing that Yoo-Hoo, that's going to be the right decision every single time. Yoo-Hoo is available in a variety of flavors, vanilla, strawberry, but here at MadBash, our personal favorite is chocolate. I'm going to tell you about Yoo-Hoo a little bit more, right? We absolutely love this stuff. here at MadBash. We cannot get enough of it. And you know what? We're going to sweeten the pot a little bit here thanks to Yoo-Hoo. If you see us at a wrestling show and you buy a MadBash wrestling sticker, you are entitled to 1 free bottle of Yoo-Hoo on MadBash Studios. Limit 1 per customer while supplies last. Now, come on, guys. You can't beat that deal with a stick. Again, MadBash would like to thank Yoo-Hoo so much for sponsoring this episode. This episode of the Spot Show podcast is also brought to you by Elite Pro Wrestling. Here's the thing about Elite Pro Wrestling, right? You have them to thank for the Spot Show podcast in many different ways. Elite Pro Wrestling gave MadBash Studios our first opportunity when we decided to come back into the wrestling business. So Elite Pro Wrestling is one of the OG backers. We love Elite Pro Wrestling so much. They are putting on incredible shows every single month. You should absolutely be there, whether it be in Odin, Indiana, Washington, Indiana. We would love to see you in the crowd there at Elite Pro Wrestling for every single thing that you need to know about EPW. Head on over to EliteProfessionalWrestling.com. There you are going to find dates, events, links, everything that you need to know about EPW. Thank you so much for being a day one sponsor, EPW. We very much appreciate it. Oh man, I got to tell you, here's the thing that's so cool about this is that, granted, there wasn't many, but the people that did reach out to us and give us some stories,
They had some stories.
very good ones. So Madrox, you actually got reached out to, you got reached out personally.
Yeah,
and
through a text
someone told
message.
you a story.
Even before we posted the thing.
Even before we said that we were going to do it, because someone had listened to us talking about Edna Collins, and they were like, hey, it is, you can, here's what happened to me at Edna, but we're not going to start with that one. So,
Nope.
Again, thank you so much to these people that reached out to us. We really, really do appreciate it very much. We're going to be doing more stuff like this later, where you can reach out and we will read stories and we can do stuff like that. So,
Absolutely, man.
all right,
interaction.
Madrox, I say you take it away right now with our first listener submitted story.
And this story comes to you from Brandy. She starts out saying with, "Here you go, a real, all capital, demon experience." Ooh, Jesus, what a way to start it off. One of the houses me and Sean used to live in when Eli was a baby. We had major problems in there with something messing with us. It would move things from where we left them, and we couldn't find it in the weirdest places the next day. We had so many issues that we put a Bible open to the red letters in every room, and the one I had in our bedroom, I put a bowl of potpourri next to, because there was a smell I couldn't get rid of. Well, we left for the day and came back home. The windows was closed, just so you know, and so was the door. No way a giraffe did this. The Bible was closed, and the potpourri was scattered all throughout the floor.
Oof.
After that, me and Sean went to bed, and we weren't even in bed for 5 minutes. I rolled over from facing him to face the other way, and I saw a demon was laying beside me, grinning at me. I screamed, became unglued, freaked out, left the house, and would never step back in. Sean had to move us all by himself. Could you imagine that?
Wow. Man.
Rolling over and seeing Finn Balor.
Yeah, just Finn Balor getting ready. No, I'll tell you what's even scarier is rolling over and seeing Clayton Clark beating you with a loaf of bread. But
hey, brother.
Hey, man. Well, man. Brandy, thank you so much for submitting that story. That's definitely something. That's definitely something.
Give me little goosebumps.
To be that scared of a place.
Like, we asked for ghost stories and we got demonic stories. Like,
look at that. We're starting off hot. We are starting off hot.
Like, could you imagine being so freaked out you just leave your husband and your small child in the house and never go back in and have them move everything out for you?
Oof. I feel for you on that one. I would like to know where that house is. I would like to know which house that is.
We need to reach out.
Yeah, maybe see if it's for sale. Content house.
I'm okay with this.
Let's go. All right, our next story is actually two stories. And I'm going to tell them a little bit out of order because one story involves Edna Collins Bridge.
What?
And we want to keep the Edna Collins Bridge stories together. So this comes to us from Kyle Stantz. He sends a story about Edna Collins Bridge, as I said, but then he also sends a story about a place that we didn't talk about, that we forgot to talk about. 100 Step Cemetery.
We skipped that.
We skipped 100 Step Cemetery. We forgot to talk about it. Where's 100 Step at?
In between Staunton and Brazil.
Staunton and Brazil. Okay.
You know that little caution light as you're driving down 40 to get to Brazil?
Yes, sir.
Turn right there. It's about a quarter mile up the road on your left-hand side.
Okay, very specific.
Very.
For those of you that aren't local, we apologize. Okay, so he sent this story second, but I'm going to read it first. I also have a story about 100 Steps where I fell down the hill and had a handprint on my left shoulder blade. I went there with some friends and my cousin, and we walked the steps and counted. Okay, so let me time out. Sorry for interrupting your story. The deal with 100 Step Cemetery is you climb up the steps, and it's 100 steps. And you have to count the steps on the way up, and you get 100. Then you count on the way down, and you get 99. Now, obviously, it's standard math. You don't count the top step.
Yeah.
But stuff does happen at 100 Step Cemetery. Not trying to discredit it, but there are stories very similar to what Kyle wrote in here. So now that you know that context of 100 Step Cemetery, I went there with some friends and my cousin, and we walked the steps and counted. We started to antagonize the spirits, and they went down the steps. I chose to go down the hill. I was pushed and had a red handprint on my left shoulder blade.
That's his problem right there. He didn't go down the steps.
It's the same concept as going to Hatchet Man and not touching the fence, you know?
Yep.
So Kyle also tells us his story about Edna Collins Bridge. So here we go. I went to Edna Collins Bridge with my cousin and some friends. Boy, you and your cousin and friends love to go to these haunted places, brother. I mean, you got to go with a group of friends when you go to these places.
You have to, man.
You know what I mean? You got the.
That's like going to Denny's by yourself. You just don't do it.
No, or going to Denny's not after a wrestling show.
Yes,
it's not the same.
We did it like once, and
we did it once, and it wasn't right. That was whenever we went and Logan like ordered off the big boy menu, and he was like trying to eat the full burger, but he was like couldn't do it. But anyways, I digress. Boy, I am just interrupting poor Kyle's stories. Went to Edna Collins Bridge with my cousin and some friends. We did the whole routine of turning the car off, flash the headlights, and honk the horn. Nothing happened, so we started to antagonize the spirits. Brother, stop antagonizing these spirits. And my new batteries in my camera were drained. My cell phone died, and it got so cold I was starting to see my breath. My cousin and friends just felt the area around me, and they could tell a difference in temperature. Was the most insane moment ever. Now, this is very similar to stories that you have told me about Edna Collins Bridge. So I believe it. I do believe it. Edna Collins, as we've stated, is very much a very fucked up, for lack of a better term, location. It just is. There is definitely some stuff that is like going on, specifically like with, you know, draining of batteries and the area around him being cold and shit like that. Like that seems pretty par for the course.
Oh, yeah.
For Edna Collins Bridge. So, all right, Madrox, we have got one more story that was submitted to us
through text message.
An
hour after the podcast dropped. Like,
yeah.
This is what Edna does to people. So this is from Sarah. The first time I've ever been there, literally last year, 2 of my friends randomly went out there one night after we had gone to Spooklight, 100 Steps, and Hell's Gates. Nothing happened to those, but whatever, still fun. I was like, I want to go to Edna. I've never really been. I really want to go. They were like, bet, let's go. We were talking as we're pulling up, and you know, when you're about to pass out the lightheaded feeling and like everything sounds like you're underwater.
Yep.
As soon as I see the bridge, I feel that. It only lasts for like 30 seconds, but it felt like a lifetime. We pull to the middle of the bridge, and my friend shuts off the truck, turns off the lights. No one is talking, and I'm kind of freaking out because why the hell did I just feel like that? I keep seeing things move out of the corner of my eye, and it looks like something is circling around the truck. All I see is just quick white flashes. I don't tell them I'm seeing this. Nothing else happens, so we turn the truck on, lights on, and we drive out. I'm in the backseat alone and leaned up between the two of them. Hold on. Next page.
Oh, this is a 2-pager.
Yes. No, I lost my spot. I'm in the backseat alone, leaned up to the part of them, and they both were weirded out. I look ahead of us, and I'm like, what's that laying at the end of the bridge? My friend's like, not sure. We'll drive over it and turn around to go back over the bridge. We were driving closer to see what's laying there. We all get out. It was a little girl's nightgown. Like a plain white little girl's nightgown, like 6 to 7 years old as hell. I literally felt like I was going to puke. I started shaking to the point I almost had to have help back into the truck. I could not breathe until we were like 2 miles down the road. I have never been more scared in my life.
Edna Collins Bridge.
Brother, that night we went out there, what the hell would have happened if like a nightgown just randomly appeared in the middle of the bridge?
Well, we saw the little girl sitting in the middle of the bridge.
Yeah, I'm just saying though, like if you had something like you could physically touch.
Oh, I wouldn't touch it. I wouldn't touch it, to be honest with you.
I would have kept it.
You know what we got to do?
Go to Edna right now.
Not right now, but I think if there's a demand for it, let us know on facebook.com/MadBash Studios. Send us a message, leave a comment. Let us know if you think the MadBash boys should go to Edna Collins Bridge.
Make a little film ski.
Make a little, and we'll document it. We will show you our investigation or whatever we want to call it. Because it's been 10 years since I've been, 11 years since I've been. When's the last time you went?
Oh, shit. 6 years?
Yeah.
Brother.
I think we go.
All I'm throwing out there is I ain't bringing no damn turkey pan.
No. No. If you want to know what we're talking about with a turkey pan, check out this month's Big Stupid Popcorn. Good stories, guys. Really good stories.
I just find it crazy that like most of the stories received had an Edna.
Yeah. Yeah, that just goes to show you like how, for lack of a better term, legit this place is.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Because Edna, like, it is one of the most uncomfortable feelings I've ever had in my life. Like, it was definitely something special. And like, I'm not gonna put business in the streets, but there's a couple people that we're associated with that are like, no, I don't mess with stuff like that. You can go without me. So I think, we get me, you, maybe find a couple of more brothers to go with us. I think we go out there to Edna. I think it would be a fun little video to make.
I'm game for it, brother.
Yeah, let's do it.
Anytime.
Yeah. Now I wonder, because the idea is that you turn the lights and everything off. I wonder if we keep the dome lights on, if that's going to affect the demons in any way.
We'll try everything, man.
Well, I mean, so we can film.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, well, yeah, man. Really good stories. Like I said, we want more fan and listener interaction with you guys.
We're begging you guys.
So we'll be putting stuff like that out. It would be like, like I said, when this goes live, let us know on Patreon or messages or comments or posts if you think that we should go to Edna Collins Bridge.
I'm so excited for this because I know they're going to want us to do it.
They're probably. I really put myself into a corner on that one, didn't I?
No, because you know we're going to have fun out there.
No, yeah, and like I'm not looking forward to it, but it's just like, ugh, like going out there because I know we're gonna have to go out there at like 2 a.m, and I'm gonna be fucking tired.
We'll get you some coffee.
Yeah, I'll just get a little napski in that night. So speaking of being tired,
That's me.
that's me.
Brother, I had 2 music video shoots yesterday.
And that's just yesterday.
That's just yesterday.
What about the other stuff we've been doing this month, man? We've been doing so much stuff, and we still have so much more to come. Like, you know, by the time that this comes out, it's already happened, but you know, we got the big trip to Danville coming up. We're going back to NVW, and I'm going to squash any rumors right now before it even gets we are not making Danville Dreamers 3.
What?
We're not doing Danville Dreamers 3. Danville Dreamers is officially done after 2. I'm not going to use that name anymore. I'm just not. But we will be filming and we will be making content that weekend. We've got a fun little weekend coming up that's already happened by the time you hear this. But just letting you know, there's going to be content aplenty from that weekend.
Like a Danville documentary.
Or just something, you know, but it's not going to be Danville Dreamers 3. It's not going to be associated with Danville Dreamers. It's going to be its own thing.
Its own entity.
Its own entity. It's going to be like in the same like universe, of course, but it's not Danville Dreamers. It's not Danville Dreamers.
It might just be honk 3 times.
It could just be honk 3 times, brother.
It won't be a fucking turkey pan.
So, man, where do we even fucking begin with what our October has been?
Amazing.
Yeah.
Busy. Hectic.
Yeah, it really has.
I mean, we had HCW.
Yeah.
We had a parade.
We did a parade immediately after.
We've done EPW.
Yep.
We're Danville.
We got Danville coming up.
Did some work with the boys from Long Live Evil.
Yeah, you did.
Yep.
Yeah.
That was so fun. I wish you could have came out.
Yeah, so let's talk about that. You went to a music video shoot. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, got the message saying, hey, we're going to be in town. We want you to come out and help with this video. So I was like, yeah, I'm game. And went down there, got there around noon, didn't leave until midnight.
Good 12-hour day, brother.
Yep. Filmed 2 videos. Great time hanging with all the boys. Nothing major. I'll play you the song after this.
Oh, yeah. Is this a song that's out yet, or?
It's an unreleased track that they've redone.
Oh, okay. I love shit like that.
And then SON song is a brand new track off his new record. So
cool. And it's not out yet?
Nope.
Cool. Yeah, you've definitely, and then like for me, I mean, outside of just like all the editing and stuff I've been doing, like that's pretty much it. I mean, you don't want to listen to me talk about the process of editing and stuff like that, but yeah, we did. So we started the month off with Hybrid, in our hometown of West Terre Haute. And it was a really cool feeling because like we've talked about how, yeah, we did Terre Haute and it was a homecoming for us, but it hits different to be in West Terre Haute proper.
yes,
Because like a homecoming to Terre Haute was special and everything,
but it wasn't across the river.
It wasn't across that river. And MadBash Wrestling, I don't want to discredit Hybrid at all. They showed up and showed out as well with some really good matches, but then so did MadBash Wrestling. We had 2 banger matches.
Oh, yeah.
We had the second match. We had a rematch between Chris Cutler and Clayton Clark. And then we had Dalton Davis versus Cecil Cerveza in a West T street fight.
Man, talk about heavy hits.
Wow. Yeah.
How does that make you feel, though, brother?
It does what make me feel?
MadBash Wrestling was the main event on a card.
That makes me feel really
on
good.
Its second showing.
In my hometown.
In your hometown.
Yeah.
You never thought about it like that, did you?
Never looked at it like that, no. Yeah, and that was only our second showing with MadBash Wrestling.
Yeah.
Wasn't it?
Yup.
Holy shit. And then we had our third showing with Dalton Davis versus Oliver Kane at EPW. And all I want to say is I need more Oliver Kane in my locker rooms because he is such a joy to be around.
Absolutely, man.
He is so much fun. I love Oliver Kane.
And he gave us the best fire merch.
Yeah. Wrestling is my side chick t-shirts. He just gave them. He's like, here you go, guys. You can have them.
He did steal a lot of Yoo-hoo, though.
I mean, he's entitled to
Yes,
it, though.
he
He
is.
just walks up with like an armful of Yoo-hoo and he goes, I hope this isn't too much. I was like, nah, take him to your family. They, we got plenty. We got plenty. But then the match itself was just a fucking banger. Like that's what's been so cool about this Don't Meet Your Heroes tour that Dalton is on, is that every match has been different. Like he had the brawl with Shank, he had the street fight with Cecil, and then he had more of a technical match with Oliver. And every single match, off with your head, boom, right? He knocked Cecil out.
Yeah.
That's how fired up this kid's becoming. Like he knocked Cecil out.
He won a street fight by knockout.
Yeah, so that should go to show you like how tough Dalton Davis really is. Because if you can win a street fight by knockout, holy shit.
That kid's got it, brother.
He does.
And it's like bringing out the best of both worlds because, I mean, he's brought Shank Barzini out of retirement.
Yeah.
He's brought Cecil Cerveza back to the main event levels that we knew he was capable of.
Yep.
And he put on an instant classic with Oliver Kane. Like,
yes.
If that match was on a WrestleMania, that would have stole the show.
I agree. It was really good. And it was out of Dalton's wheelhouse because he's never really faced someone like Oliver. So he had to like adjust his style a little bit to go into that match. And, I think they stepped up and delivered.
Oh, yeah.
Both of them did. The rizzled veteran.
I'd be happy to see a rematch.
I would love to see a rematch, but he's got 2 more names on that list.
I'm just saying, if both those names are Oliver Kane, I'm okay with it.
I agree. So he has not told me who the other 2 names are, but he's got some ideas. He's
hinted one at me.
He's hinted one to me. God said Abraham. That's
Rodeo
all.
Burgers, boy.
Yeah, he hinted one name to me, and I think I figured out who it is. But I told him, I said, look, brother, you just tell me who you want these matches against, and we'll make them happen.
Yep.
We'll make them happen.
All he wants is a platform, and that's what we got to give him.
Yeah. And then I think this is the first time that we're publicly talking about it, but it's been announced. Welcome aboard, Jay Silva.
Your new favorite.
Jay Silva, your new favorite, is now a MadBash boy, and we are sponsoring his first match at EPW in November.
Yep.
November 4th?
I believe so, yes.
November 4th in Washington. Going to be Clayton Clark versus Jay Silva, one of the original 5, stepping up and telling Silva, like, hey, man, you're going to have to prove yourself if you want to be a MadBash boy. And I think Silva's more than capable. I wouldn't have approached him about being a MadBash boy if I didn't think that he wasn't.
Absolutely, man. Like, Silva's time to shine is now.
He's a great dude.
I think he's going to reach up and grab that yellow and blue Yoo-hoo ring.
Yes. I'm going to fill you in on some funny behind-the-scenes Jay Silva stories on Paid Show because he and I are just menaces in a locker room whenever we're together. We're just laughing all the time and interrupting meetings and just dumb shit, but
unprofessionalism.
We are very unprofessional sometimes, but yeah. So what was your favorite part of October so far?
I would have to say the EPW show.
Yeah, it was good.
There's just something about that night, getting all the boys together, because that's like the show where we had the most MadBash guys in one locker room. So that was really special.
Yeah, we had me, you, Colby, Oliver, Dalton, Clayton,
Jared.
Yeah, Jared was there. The Blight of MadBash, as we've started calling him.
Yep.
Yeah, Jared came up a little bit. Didn't come up with the victory in that casket match, but like only a MadBash boy knows how to do. He showed up and
showed out,
put in his best performance. I mean, that's really all that we ask from these guys. You know, it's like get out there and you got the MadBash seal of approval. So go out there and do what you got to do. We trust you guys. That's why we put our brand on you, is that we believe you guys and we trust you. So
who do you think is going to be the first one we fire?
Oh, I've already made the joke. I've already got the apologies written for Dalton Davis.
Dalton's impressing me. I think it's going to be someone else.
That we have come to terms on the release of Dalton Davis.
It might have to be Colby Jack.
Could be Colby Jack.
He can't drink Yoo-Hoo very much.
No, yeah. He's like, no, man. You know, it's dairy products. I don't like to drink dairy products. But I don't know, man. Him and Clayton have a history, so it's going to be curious to see how they continue to get along. You know, because back in the day, they had that bull rope match.
Yeah.
So it's going to be curious to see how they can coexist as MadBash boys. But oh, brother, the year's starting to wind down, though.
It is.
The year is starting to wind down. We only got a couple of bookings in November. Then December, we're taking off. So, you know.
I'm excited for it, though, man.
I am, too.
We've accomplished so much in less than a year. Like, we deserve this vacation.
We do. We do. Not saying that if the opportunity knocks that we're not going to answer the door, but we definitely are not going to be doing as hot and heavy as we are in December. But as we do normally. But you know, don't worry. The podcast is still going to be here. All of that stuff is still going to be here. But we're just not going to be on shows as much. So
yeah.
So, all right, we're going to start to wrap up here. Thank you to the listeners that sent in those amazing stories. Those were very good stories. Had a blast reading them, had a blast hearing from you, letting us read those stories on the podcast. It was really cool.
Enjoyed it
a lot. Like I said, we're definitely going to try to do more stuff like that in the future where we get more listener involvement, more fan involvement. You know, it's involvement, you know, the $10 tier on the Patreon. You can vote right now on what you think the next limited edition MadBash poster should be. And right now, Clayton Clark's winning. So
I thought I was winning.
Nope. Nope.
I'm pulling him as an option.
Yeah. So right now, you can vote on if the next MadBash poster should be Clayton Clark, Dalton Davis, Jared Savage, me, or Madrox. And right now, it's looking like it's probably going to be Clayton Clark. So, boy, I've seen the designs for these posters, and you can't go wrong with any of them.
No.
They're all going to be nice posters. By the way, shout out to the people that have already bought the original 5 posters. They definitely, there's only going to be 10 of them. I am dead serious when I say that we are not making any more. So get those while you still can. So, all right, guys, we're going to head on over to Paid Show now. So, for those of you that are subscribed on the Patreon, we will see you then. If you're not, then, you know, get on it, man. You're missing all this great content over on Paid Show. It's so good. It's so good. Of course, guys, head on over to facebook.com, MadBash Studios. Give us a like, share, follow. I don't understand how likes and follows differ because we have more follows than likes. It makes no sense. Remember back in the day, it was just likes.
They had to complicate everything.
They always do. It's meta. What do you expect? They complicate everything. So, all right, guys. You can find me on Instagram at AttaboyDickie. I'm trying to be more active on that. Madrox is pretty much MIA on social media. But yeah, head on over patreon.com, MadBash Studios, and you can hear us on Paid Show. So we'll see you guys there.